I never imagined that a single, seemingly ordinary day could upend my entire life. My name's Nathan, and for the longest time, I thought I was living a fairy tale. It all started 5 years ago, when I met Claire. She was 23, and I was 32. From the moment we met, she captivated me. She had this magnetic energy, always laughing, always full of ideas about the future. She made me feel alive in a way I hadn't felt in years. I wasn't looking for love when I met her, but sometimes life surprises you. We started dating, and within months, I was head over heels. Claire had this ability to make everything seem exciting, whether it was a simple walk in the park or planning a future trip we never actually took. A year later, we got married in a simple ceremony surrounded by close friends and family. For a while, things were perfect. Or, at least, I thought they were. Claire and I built a life together, one filled with dreams and plans. She wanted to finish her degree and start her own business, while I continued to expand my career in real estate. We worked hard to support each other, or so I believed. But slowly, I began noticing small cracks in our relationship. It started with subtle things, like the way she'd angle her phone away from me when she was texting, or the increasing number of late nights she spent out with friends. At first, I chalked it up to her needing her own space, her own time. After all, marriage doesn't mean giving up your independence, right? But the distance between us kept growing. One night, after she came home from another one of her networking events, she fell asleep on the couch, still dressed in her work clothes. Her purse tipped over, spilling its contents onto the floor. Among the usual clutter, lipstick, a notepad, and some loose change, her phone caught my eye. It was filling with a number of messages. Alison Davies Gray, Civvy, 69. The screen lit up with a notification. You have a new match? My heart stopped. It was from a dating app. At first, I told myself there had to be a logical explanation. Maybe it was an old account she'd forgotten to deactivate. Claire wasn't the type of person to betray me. Or so I thought. I picked up her phone, my hands trembling, and scrolled through her notifications. There it was. A message from someone named James. James, can't wait to see you tomorrow. Same time. I stared at the screen, unable to process what I was seeing. Was this a joke? A misunderstanding? Deep down I knew the truth, but I wasn't ready to face it. The next morning, while Claire was still asleep, I created a fake profile on the same app. I used a random photo, a polished bio, and a fake name, Elliot. My goal was simple: find her, confront her, and get the truth. It didn't take long. Within minutes of searching, I found her profile. She'd used a picture of herself standing on a beach, her hair glowing in the sunlight. She listed herself as single, and wrote that she was looking for someone adventurous who knows how to treat a woman. I stared at the screen, my stomach churning. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I decided to message her. Me, hi there. You seem interesting. Mind if I say hello? She replied almost instantly. Claire, hi. Elliot, you're sweet. What brings you here? What brings me here? The irony wasn't lost on me. I played along, keeping the conversation light. Over the next few days, we exchanged messages. She told me about her busy life and how she was looking for someone who could make her feel special. I wanted to throw my phone across the room. The messages weren't just painful. They were a slap in the face. Claire described herself as unfulfilled, saying things like, I feel like I've been invisible for so long. Invisible? I thought about all the nights I stayed late at work to afford her the life she wanted. All the times I put her happiness above my own, the hours spent talking on the phone when she wasn't home. And me, staring at the shadows of the faraway country. Finally, I pushed her. Me. There was a long pause before she replied. Claire, maybe. Let's see how the week goes. That wasn't good enough for me. I needed answers, and I needed them now. 2 days later, I messaged her again, insisting on a date. To my surprise, she agreed. She suggested a high-end restaurant downtown, the kind of place she'd never asked to go to with me. Stay. The night of the date, I got there early, sitting at a cafe across the street where I could see the restaurant entrance. At exactly 7 p.m., Claire arrived, dressed in a red dress I'd bought her for our anniversary. She looked stunning, but all I could feel was anger and betrayal. I watched as she walked into the restaurant and sat at a table near the window. She ordered a drink, occasionally glancing at her phone, likely waiting for Elliot to show up. I took a deep breath and crossed the street. When I entered the restaurant, her eyes widened as she saw me. "Nathan?" she stammered, her face draining of color. "What a coincidence," I said, forcing a smile. "You're here too." I was just..." She struggled to find the words. "You were just meeting someone, weren't you?" I said, cutting her off. Her face twisted in panic. "It's not what it looks like." "Oh, really?" I pulled out my phone and showed her our chat. Her face turned bright red as she read the messages. "Elliot?" she whispered. I nodded. "Yeah, Claire. Elliot." She burst into tears, right there in the middle of the restaurant. "I'm so sorry," she sobbed. "It didn't mean anything. I just wanted to feel, I don't know, appreciated." "Appreciated?" I repeated, my voice rising. "I've been working day and night to build a life for us, Claire. I've done everything to make you happy. And this is how you repay me?" She begged me to forgive her, but I couldn't hear her anymore. The betrayal was too much. I left the restaurant, her cries echoing behind me. That night, I packed a bag and stayed at a friend's house. Over the next few weeks, Claire sent me endless texts and voicemails begging for another chance. She said it was a mistake, that she'd never actually met up with anyone before. But I couldn't trust her. How could I? I filed for divorce. The process was painful, but it was necessary. Claire tried to win me back, showing up at my office, pleading with my friends to talk to me on her behalf. But I stood my ground. Now, a year later, I've started to rebuild my life. I moved to a new city, found a small apartment, and started focusing on myself for the first time in years. I've even started dating again. Slowly. Cautiously. Looking back, I see Claire's betrayal as a blessing in disguise. It forced me to confront the truth and let go of a relationship that was never as strong as I thought it was. Life goes on, and so do I.